Welcome to The Source with your host, Dr. C.T. Curry, and co-host Kobe Owens. News all across the nation. The Source. Stay in the loop in the city of Wilmington, Delaware. Work together for change in the community. A call to action to find the resources. The Source, the latest in news.
Good evening. This is Dr. Curry.
This is Kobe Owens.
And welcome to The Source. Kobe, I don't know, the world is on fire. The state, the country is on fire as it relates to Donald Trump. Every week he got something new. I think he's hiding from the Epstein case. But $230 million, help me.
So your president has requested that his Federal Department of Justice pay him $230 million in compensation for all the criminal investigations and for being mean to him after he left the White House the first time.
And you know what the sad reality is? He's going to probably get it because can't nothing stop it.
Right. This was first reported by the New York Times. He submitted the complaints against the DOJ. And again, it's not defamation, but he believes that that he should be compensated for the hardship he had to go through during that time.
Now, a couple of things I just want to say. Now, normally the DOJ would push back and say, okay, you got to prove your case. You have to prove that it was a hardship. You have to prove that we did something illegal, whatever. But the people who are in his DOJ are the ones who were fighting for him when they was going through all this stuff that was going on. How is that fair?
It's Donald Trump's world.
It's on fire.
It's Donald Trump's world. I'll say that. I think what we're seeing right now and what we've seen throughout this presidency and his last presidency is he is looking at how he can make more money, not only for him, but for his family as well, too. And he even joked about how it would be awkward that the check to pay him would come through his desk. Mm-hmm. So again, I think this is a very unserious but very serious matter. Mm-hmm. This seems like something you would see on Scandal or on West Wing or something like that, Veep, not real world. Mm-hmm. And I agree with you. I don't think there's anyone there to stop him. I think that he probably will get this money.
Now, if the Democrats were in charge of the House and this occurred, would there be anything to stop him even if they were in charge?
No, because I believe the money would come from their reserve funds that have already been pre-allocated out. So Congress have already voted on those funds. Just like each department has additional funds. So like Robert Kennedy and them have additional funds. In case SNAP benefits aren't refunded, they still have reserve accounts. He wants to pull from accounts like that, the reserve accounts, which are like rainy day funds.
Yeah, it's really sad, and the people who are struggling. I mean, you got people. They said that the lines were very, very long this weekend, especially in the Virginia area, for federal government employees who had to be in food lines. How can this man just be this greedy and people just still accept it? I don't understand.
I mean, he's a wannabe king. And back in the day, the kings and queens would throw big feasts for the royals while their people, their people that they're supposed to be protecting starved out right outside the castle.
It's just sad.
And if you don't know, he's building a castle as well too.
Yeah, we're going to get into that. I saw that on your. I think I saw that on him tearing down the White House. So we're going to see. Do you think he's going to ever walk away from the White House, or he's going to have to be carried out?
That's a very good question. I think they'll pump him with enough blood to stay alive and keep pushing his evil ways on people.
No, I'm talking about after the election, after 28.
Oh, he's going to have to be carried out. Because I think one thing he is trying to line up right now is the fact that he is going to try to use martial law to stay in power, or if Republicans lose, try to transfer power that way to J.D. Vance if they don't win.
Yeah, we're gonna figure it all out. But as we getting closer and closer to this election, we're gonna see next 2 weeks. I think it is. We're gonna have some indicators, I guess, to
Hmm.
see how serious and how upset America is with his leadership. Because I know we got New York City
The
races
mayor, yeah.
running, and then we also got the gubernatorial races for Virginia and for New Jersey. It's
Hmm.
going to be interesting. Here in Wilmington, there's a couple things going on, and this week we are saddened as we report 2 shootings. One led to a death. Um, right here in the city on Sunday, right after church, there was a shooting on I think it was on 29th Street. You know anything about that?
Yeah, so there was two shootings. The first one was on 29th and Washington Street at 3:15 p.m. So again, midday. It was a 23-year-old man who ended up dying. He was transferred to the hospital in critical condition and passed away there. His name is Jameer Leggett. Um, and then just a few hours later, around 7 o'clock, a
Hmm.
34-year-old woman was found shot in the 700 block of West 6th Street. He was transported
Right.
to the hospital in stable condition and still is with us.
Yeah. But one of the things, and I was looking at the young man who died,
Hmm.
23 years old.
Yeah.
Our young people are just being slaughtered with all the violence that is going on. And one of the things that we're going to talk about a little bit later is this whole Wilmington the education process in Wilmington, and I'm looking forward to that little conversation we're going to have a little bit later. But let me also draw you to something that was interesting. The mayor vetoed your bill. Was that your bill?
It was not mine. It was
Okay.
not mine. But it was Councilwoman McCoy's from the 6th District's bill. And it was to create a landlord tenant escrow account for the city of Wilmington.
Mhm.
What that means is, let's say you, as a tenant and a resident in the city of Wilmington, you have been emailing or calling your landlord to fix the hot water tank, the mold, lead in your,
Mhm. Mhm.
and they have not done it, but you're still paying rent. This would allow you to put a portion of that rent in a city-run escrow account, and the city holds on to that money so that you don't go and spend it and everything. But your landlord doesn't get access to it till L&I comes out and says, "All right, this is what you need to fix." Landlord fixes it. L&I comes back out. Okay, you fixed it. Now those funds are released to you.
Mhm.
Um, the the state had a bill up in 2023 and 2024, introduced by former Representative Sherry Dorsey Walker, to try to do this on the state level. It would have been housed with the courts, so that you would have had good standing, and it would have changed the withholding requirements from only $400 to the full amount. Again, $400 back in the 70s, that was about how much it costs, right? Now you're paying anywhere from $1,500
Yeah.
to
Easily.
$3,000 in some
Mhm.
of these new apartments, right? So again, um, this is this is what we're dealing with on the city level, and on the state level. They tried to address it; it didn't go through. Carney pitted funding for this in the budget. Just the House and the Senate couldn't get this through in time for that funding to go in. So um, I thought he would have been on board with it here on the city level. The bill overall, it passed with 10 votes, one no, 10 yes votes, one no vote, two absent, with Councilman Johnson and Hackett being absent, Councilman Spadola being the sole no vote, and then myself and 9 others voting yes.
Yeah, but now just so you can address, I know he said in a statement released from his office that the reason why he did not support it, the only reason why he did not support it, because he felt the fiscal note was too expensive. It wasn't that he didn't agree with it. So, you, is there some justification that you may say to counter that?
Yeah, so he pointed out that it would be $300,000 to
Mhm.
involve two additional staffers, 700 or 75,000 to upgrade software, and 50,000 for the finance department to be able to collect and audit, and 2,000 for marketing. The 300,000 is a very real thing when you're bringing on new staff, but I believe we have a very capable staff with what we have right now that we could have potentially retrained 2 individuals to be able to handle this caseload, and giving them a small pay increase for taking on a new role instead of having to bring on 2 additional new roles and have that high of a price tag. And it's not just salaries associated with it, it's benefits and
Right,
everything
understood.
goes into that $300,000. Again, the mayor is saying that $300,000 isn't currently in the budget, and it, you know, there's a lot of things that currently isn't in the budget, but we do budget amendments for all the time. The former administration did a $10 million budget amendment, in order to do development, right? Just earlier, actually, the meeting after the rent escrow passed, we did a budget amendment for appraisals, $450,000 for to do reappraisals for this property tax assessment for homeowners, which I think is great, and which I supported and co-sponsored. And I co-sponsored that, and I co-sponsored this because in this city we have more renters than homeowners. That doesn't mean because the homeowners are in a minority, they shouldn't be protected. And it doesn't mean because renters do not own the property, they should not be protected as well
Understood.
too. So that was my reasoning for supporting this and wanting to get this through. Like I said earlier this week, I am willing to, I would support an override of the veto, but also I would be willing to sit down and make some amendments as well too. It depends on what the sponsor of the bill wants to do, but I truly do believe that we should have an escrow account here at least until the state can get their stuff together.
Did
And
Sherry's pass?
it did not. It passed the House, but it didn't pass the Senate.
Okay.
So until the state can get their stuff together on their end, we should be doing everything possible to protect our residents here in the city of Wilmington.
Do you think that we can increase the L&I presence in some of these rental properties while we are waiting on this? Because the fiscal note is how you're going to always lose. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. Because most of the times, if you are a manager, like the mayor or whatever, even if they didn't like the project, and it didn't say he didn't like it, but if they don't even like the project, they can always say the fiscal note is too big. But in the meantime, while we're trying to work that through, and I agree with you, maybe some amendments needs to go to that instead of having the 2 people, maybe the 1 or whatever need to happen. But do you think that maybe we should try to increase our L&I presence in some of these properties when people complain, a hotline for that?
So I have a bill that would address that with pre-rental inspection. So every 2 years, you would have to get your apartment inspected by L&I. Again, they're saying the same thing: the price tag's too high. So again, they're just going to keep using the same narrative over and over and over again. But pre-rental inspections is something in which guarantees that you're going into a place that is certified by the city of Wilmington as somewhere that is safe, somewhere that is in good health environment wise. I've been in a ton of different apartments over the last 10 months, not just in my district, but all throughout the city as I'm trying to craft the best bill possible. And one of the quote unquote good landlords, one of their tenants knew I was meeting with them, and she invited me into her apartment, not in the building that he wanted me to see, but into her apartment and how the work that they did. And she was on the top floor of the building. The roof was leaking, and instead of replacing the roof, they just came in and put duct tape on her ceiling, and put it's a sponge and then a towel and duct taped it. And I said, "Did you do this?" She said, "No, the workers did this. It's been like this for 2 months now. I'm scared to even touch it because I'm sure it's probably mold and stuff up there." And I said, "Oh, yeah, a sponge? Yes."
Wow.
She had filed multiple complaints with L&I, and it took almost 6 months for L&I to finally agree to go in, look at it, and say, "Oh yeah, this is unacceptable." And then she got evicted by the landlord instead of him actually fixing the issue. So
somebody else got
again,
it.
we have to protect our residents who
I agree.
live here.
Yeah.
And that was right downtown.
Yeah.
So we have a lot that we have to do.
Yeah, it's really sad. Some of the people, the conditions people have to live in, they're forced to live in, and nobody is really protecting them. We got to have some kind of safeguards. And I think as we move forward and find out what the city council, do you think the person who's in charge of that bill is going to push back, or do you think it's going to be just a done deal?
There's still conversations going. I have no clue where we're going with this just yet.
Okay, well, we're going to look forward to hearing what the outcome. One last thing before we go to our commercial break, I do want to just spend a moment talking about the Wilmington school system and the school district. I know that the city council has an office called advocacy office,
educational advocacy office,
and also you have the person in charge of the education committee. For this to be the largest city in the state of Delaware, not to have a school district is a really preposterous. But tell me what they're trying to do now to try to get some things done.
So at the beginning of this council, we created the Office of Educational Advocacy. We hired Dr. O, who's a former school administrator and teacher as well too, to lead that office. She is working hand in hand with our education committee, Education, Youth, and Family Committee that I serve on. The chair of that committee is Councilwoman Tish Bracy, and the vice chair is Alexander Hackett. Again, they're all working to try to make sure that the city council from the local side of things have more of a voice in what's going on with our students. Currently, everyone knows the city of Wilmington is divided by 5 school districts, 4 different maps or 4 different school districts cut up our city. And then, of course, there's the VOTEC as well, too. We don't have issue with VOTEC because VOTEC is for the whole Newcastle County. But Brandywine, Red Clay serve about 85% of our students in the city of Wilmington. Then you have a non-continuous district in Christina, and then you have a school district that has no brick and mortar schools in the city of Wilmington in Colonial. So between the 4 of those, there's been multiple proposals about what to do with the city since DSEG, and they broke up the Wilmington School District when Joe Johnson was the superintendent. The proposals that are now coming forth is a minimum of 2 school districts, which would be Brandywine and Red Clay. And it would split it down the river, right? So everything west would be Red Clay, everything east would be Brandywine. The other proposal is a metropolitan Wilmington one that will combine all of Brandywine and all of Red Clay together and encompass all of the city of Wilmington under one umbrella. And then the last proposal is combining all 4 of those schools into a northern Newcastle County district. So Apple would still be there, but everything else would be in one school district. Again, I think if any, it'd probably be the split between Red Clay and Brandywine, which will get voted on very soon. But there's a ton of pushback. Brandywine school board members do not want to take any more city kids, and they are ready to sue to stop this from happening. And it's sad because I've talked about this before. You have a whole school district voting on who's going to be our school board representative. And this time race did come into play. And we have someone who's on the school board who has decided to side with the other people on the school board instead of fighting for the inner city in which he lives, but is not fighting for. So again, we have to do better holding ourselves accountable and finding good people to run as well too. But that's where we're at with that. On October 28th, there will be a Reddit Consortium full body meeting in which they will take public input. And then on November 6th, it's a virtual or hybrid option. They will be voting on their final recommendations.
And one of the things, I did go to the meeting on last Friday, and I sat through that, and I was very angry to find out that the way they are treating our Wilmington children is just unbelievable. And they are split between all these districts, and it's like they're afterthoughts that no one really take the time to think of to address the needs of Wilmington children who live in the city of Wilmington. But I think what has to happen, I said this to our congregation on Sunday, is that we need to get in the buses and get down there on the 28th, and we need to really jam-pack the room so that the people can see that just like those folks want to say we're ready to sue, well, we're going to be the ones to show them that, well, we're here too, and we're voters, and we can remove you off these boards. And I think that's going to be the only way we can really bring some true reform to the education system in Wilmington. Our young people are dying daily. They're dying because of the lack of education. And I don't care what anybody got to say, and there are people who criticize me because I spend all the time talking about the key to our freedom is education. It's not more money, it's education. Because
Mhm.
once we get the education, the money will flow in the right way. And another reason why somebody had asked the question, how come we just don't have a Wilmington school district? Well, based on the tax dollars, it would be a hardship
Yes.
to be able to educate our young people to the level that we need. Now, if they want to put some of the tax dollars from other areas into the
Into
world,
our
then
areas.
quite natural, we can do well. I think that our children deserve to have a high school, deserve to have a elementary school and a middle school here in the city.
Mhm.
Because getting on those buses, and I ain't gonna get into that DSAG stuff right now, but getting on those buses sometime early in the morning, having to go and sit there and try to stay awake, probably didn't eat the night before and didn't eat breakfast. It's just not fair. Our young
Mhm.
people are not interested to the level they need to be. They're not engaged to the level they need to be. No one is really addressing their concerns. So what I'm calling for is for every person who is concerned about the violence in the street, for every person who's concerned about our young people who are dying, show up at Del Tech on the 28th. I think that's on a Tuesday night or a Monday night,
Tuesday.
a Tuesday night, the 28th of October at 5 p.m. There's going to be a very general conversation. There will be public comments, and I plan to be there to make some public comments, because at the end of the day, and as a matter of fact, it's 2 days from now, I want you to be able to start voicing your opinions. If you pay attention to all the others, the folks who got money and the other people of a different race, they show up at these meetings, and that's when the decisions are made. We have to show up and fight for our children. Wilmington children deserve better, and we're going to have to start showing that we care and not just want to show up to a funeral when one has been slain or something is going wrong. We have to start showing up. We have Coach Waterman who's going to be with us today. This is going to be a nice interview we're going to have with him. So I'm going to make some room for that. But I just wanted to make sure we had those things covered today on my show, my segment of the show. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Pastor and People's 20th anniversary is right around the corner, and everybody's talking about it. Now we've got even more to announce. So here's a sneak peek at our 5 electric guest preachers coming here to E Zion Fair this December.
You need to understand that when you counted me out, you didn't know that I was a part of what God is building in the earth. You might not think I'm much, but I'm a bad man. All Jesus had to say was, peace be still. And order was restored. Do you know we serve a God who's able to restore order on tonight? And if he can do it in the universe, he can do it in this country. If he can do it on the universe, he can do it in our communities. He does it as we declare the word. That's why some of y'all act a fool in church and run around and sweat, because folk don't know your then. They just see you in your now. And they got the nerve to be jealous of your now. They got the nerve to hate on you now, but you can't want my now if you didn't have my then.
There's a reason that you are still breathing. So bring God your brokenness. Bring God your emptiness. Bring God your worries. Bring God your wounds. Bring God your fears. Trust God to work things out, because God is up to something in your life. Glory to God. It is the picture of the providence of God. Somebody say providence. 2 words that come together. Provideo in the Latin. Provideo. It literally means that God goes ahead of us, sees before us, and works out everything we need. So by the time we get there, all we can say is, all things work together for the good of those who love God. That'll call according to his paper.
So join us December 1st through 6th for our sermon series, and get ready to look your finest for our Black Tie Gala on December 7th at the Chase Center. Buy your ticket today in the lobby and online by scanning our QR code or visiting our Eventbrite page. And if you are interested in a payment plan, please see Deaconess Benson or Sister Lum in the lobby today. See you there, E Zion Fair.
And we're back. Real quick, Kobe, what's going on with your corner today?
Well, you know, one of the things I want to talk about is, and this isn't just a saying right now, this has actually happened. Donald Trump is tearing down the White House. And when he proposed this, he said he wanted to make renovations to the East Wing. Every president has made renovations somewhere in the White House to leave their mark. He said, oh, it wouldn't even touch the facade or anything. It'd just be an additional add-on. Well, they have construction crews there with cranes literally knocking down the walls of the White House to build a grand ballroom on the East Wing. Listen, this East Wing expansion, full remodel and everything is going to be bigger than the actual White House itself.
I heard
the
that.
White House is 55,000 square feet. This new grand ballroom is going to be 90,000 square feet.
Oh my gracious.
And it's going to be gold plated and everything. This is again added on to the Panera Bread Rose Garden Park that they have out there now, seating park that they have out there now, where Donald Trump is selling assets to himself, not for America, not to help us with anything, but for his campaign, which he can't run again. So it's interesting that his campaign account is still open and he is still raising money. This project overall is $250 million while we're in a government shutdown.
Well, that's 20 million more than what they're going to pay him directly. Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
This new 90,000 square foot ballroom is almost double the size of the White House, but then also will accommodate up to 1,000 people in there at any given time.
Do we really have things that big that we need that? That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we needed this, but I could tell you a few things that $250 million could go to.
Oh, yes.
And you know, it's just very interesting to see all this. Now, Trump is saying that none of this will cost taxpayers a dime, because he sold assets to him for millions of dollars to CEOs of major companies to help pay for this. And this is what it should, how government should work. Which is funny because just this past weekend, we had the No Kings protest.
Yeah.
And there was an AI video that came out that Trump tweeted out of him and his king crown and a F-1 jet flying over the protest, dropping feces over the protesters. Again, there was millions and millions of people who took to the street to protest Donald Trump. We had numerous ones here in Delaware, in Wilmington, Newark, Meadowwood, Dover, Rehoboth, Bethany Beach, Seaford, Georgetown, all over the state of Delaware. People came out and spoke out against Donald Trump. And I spoke at the Wilmington rally, and my message was very clear. We're not here to bow down to a king. We're not going to bend the knee to injustice, and we're going to fight back as a community because we're a nation of neighbors, and it's our diversity that makes us stronger. And what we're seeing coming out of the White House in front of the Republican Party is that if you are a minority, you're not welcome here, even though this is a nation of immigrants, even though it was Black slaves who built this nation, even though this land was Native American land that wasn't discovered by Christopher Columbus, but was stolen by his people. So again, that's where we're at in America right now. We're having mass protests. We've seen more protests to date at this point in his presidency than the first time he was in office. People are speaking up and speaking out against the racist immigration policies that he's pushing. They are speaking out against the policies of occupying different cities that are run only by Black mayors. Even though other cities have higher crime rates. This is a dictatorship like right now, and he's trying to go full dictatorship. He's trying to bring in the royals and the billionaires and millionaires, the people with high power, to consolidate everything. And it's up to the people to fight back because we are the leaders that we've been waiting for, and we must speak out and keep marching. But then also we have to be in our own communities. We have to protect our own communities. When they're stripping away benefits like SNAP and like healthcare. We have to come together as a community to help one another. When they start pulling back funding for transportation so that we can get places, we must come together and help give each other's rides. This is when that mutual aid mindset has to kick in for us to survive, but also to become stronger. And I think it will kick in because at the end of the day, while this nation may not always love me or you, we are a very strong nation.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
we've been through decades of fighting, so we know how to survive. They haven't gotten rid of us yet. So that's where we're at right now with that. And my last point, and this again to what I was just saying, SNAP benefits are being pulled back right now, and they're trying to use this government shutdown to stop even more benefits from being distributed. So I just wanted to give people an update. As of right now, if the government is not opened by the end of this week, by Halloween, November benefits will not be issued. What does that mean? If you receive SNAP benefits, or someone you know receives SNAP benefits, if you still have a balance on your card, you will still be able to use that balance. If you are waiting for more money to be put onto your card, you will not have access to that whatsoever. It will be frozen. If you are in an appeal process because of the government shutdown, there will be no appeals heard, which means there will be no corrections. If there's anything changed in your account during this government shutdown, it will not be able to be appealed at all. So again, that's what we're dealing with right now. And we're looking to see how we can help the community even more during this time. I will probably be hosting a food giveaway with the Delaware Food Bank. But we are looking to make sure we're meeting the needs of the community, and it's going to be a lot. And again, 73% of SNAP recipients have a gross monthly income at or below 100% of the poverty level in this fiscal year. That's the vast majority of people. But what you will see nationwide, you will see who's really impacted by these benefits. Why I'm fighting for my community, I'm also fighting for everyone who doesn't look like me as well too.
Right.
But from the narrative that we keep hearing from Donald Trump and the Republicans, the only people on these benefits are poor Black people.
They crazy.
Poor Hispanics.
Well, they're gonna get a rude, quick awakening. Matter of fact, for the young lady to come out, the Republican girl, I call her the crazy woman, for her to come out and start talking about health care, she realized, she immediately heard that it's not a Democratic issue. He said, though, I'm going to attack all the Democratic issues, but really that's his way of saying I'm going to attack all the Black folks. But it's really sad that he's doing things and not caring.
Mm-hmm.
And Congress is not holding him accountable at all.
No, they're scared of him. They're scared of him. And he's technically in his lame duck term. Yeah. He can't run again under the current Constitution. Who knows what they'll do after? But he can't run again. I know they want him to, but we got to see.
Well, I hope that nothing else major happened, and I hope they come back.
Mm-hmm.
Fetterman was on this morning, and he was talking about it's not about party, it's really about principles. And he was saying that he voted to keep the government open. I thought you said he voted not anymore.
The 10th vote, he voted no.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, how he was talking, he always voted yes. But basically, he's saying that we should never close the government down. And then they had another Democratic senator on, said that he don't understand negotiation. This is a life and death situation.
Yeah.
If Trump was very serious about taking care of the health care, that conversation would have had to be held before now. Mm-hmm. For them to talk about this clean resolution, that was just a political thing to make us think that, okay, all you gotta do is pass it and we're good. But right now, we get ready to face some serious situation. And I ain't on the front. There are many of us, well, I know I'm on they call it the Obamacare healthcare program. Those who own their own businesses, it's based on your income. It ain't like I get anything free. If my income is $60,000 with 5 people in my home, whatever that benefit is, that's what they give you, and they don't give you any more. And I think that, but what I'm hearing is that it's going to triple if we don't get this resolution passed or redo it or whatever way they look at it. But the question that was asked, and I didn't think, I'll throw it at you real quick. Do you know why the Democrats put a time limit on it?
So that's just how Congress used to operate. There's always time limit and sunsets for things, so that going forward, another Congress can have their input and be able to make changes. So a lot of things have to be reauthorized, is the language that they use down in DC. And you hear this not only for Obamacare and stuff like that, but you hear for the Defense Act reauthorization, the violence against women, which has expired. The assault weapon ban that Joe Biden was able to get passed in the early 2000s, that hasn't been reauthorized yet in numerous sessions. So again, it's a way to, as times evolve, to still be able to change something without having to go through the full crafting a new bill and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I don't know. The government's on fire. Y'all Democrats, y'all Republicans got to get together because our people are suffering, and it's going to get worse. Recession is coming. And while people thought that it wasn't going to come, I think it's coming, and it's coming real quickly. We're going to have we're going to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to have Coach Waterman. They're doing a pretty good job down there at Delaware State. Their whole athletic department is doing very well, but I'm looking forward to having a conversation. Every year I bring him on the show because I am very just impressed with how he went from a high school level to a Division I level and have really kept them in the match. You know what I'm saying? They kept them in the match and kept them doing good, and I'm very grateful and proud of him for how he's able to really sustain some of the things that he sustains, given that they're all in this portal now and don't have the money that some of these big schools got, but he's still able to do some great things. So we hope when he come on the show, he's going to talk to us a little bit about, what he got, what's happening. And I already got my season tickets. I'm one of those faithful people who've been that way for years with Delaware State, but I'm just looking forward to it. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, make sure you tell somebody, Coach Waterman will be on the show. We look forward to it. We'll be right back.
It's gonna be real good.
Zion Fair is hosting its most extravagant celebration yet. Join us on December 7th for the Pastor and People's 20th Anniversary Black Tie Gala event. Be ready to move, because our special guests are bringing the music and soul that'll get you jumping out of your seats. You're not going to want to miss these three musical giants. Welcoming the illustrious voice of Kiera Clark Sheard.
Hang on in. Every song that gets you. Shall never prosper. Hang on in there.
The incomparable piano talents of Twinkie Clark. And the majestic music of Karen Clark Sheard. Don't miss this rare opportunity to hear these gospel legends perform. So be there at the Chase Center at 7 p.m. on December 7th. Get your tickets in the lobby after service, at the front office during the week, or anytime online on our Eventbrite page. And don't forget to ask about our layaway plan.
And we're back. Just as I promised, in living color, we have the great Coach Stan Waterman. Great to have you with us.
Well, thank you. Great to be here, and I appreciate you guys inviting me.
As I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, you went from that little coach at Stanford, although you weren't little there neither, because you took that little school to another level. But now you're coach at a major Division I school. You're doing a great job. How does it feel first?
It feels good. Thank you. I mean, I'm blessed and thankful to have the opportunity to be able to do that. Not many coaches at that high school level get the opportunity to become a Division I coach. To be able to do that in my home state is extra special, and feeling good about the progress that we're making.
Yeah, and and you're absolutely correct about that. And what I'm grateful for is that you're able to deliver, because there were many doubters out there who were saying that how dare they? And you have never really been done all the data. You've succeeded. You've proven it not to be good. I don't want this to be our personal conversation. You want coffee with Curry, but we got Kobe here with us too, and I know that Kobe has a run. So Kobe, you can jump in.
Yeah, well, first off, it's an honor for me to be able to sit here with you. I've seen you coach from the sidelines. I was in the stands. I went to Sally's.
Okay.
But you know that 2010 to 2012, that was my sophomore, junior, senior. Like y'all did y'all thing then. And that buzzer beater back there at the Bob, from Jones was amazing. I even had to look at that, but also just looking at the work that you have done at Del State so far, and I know you're far from done, but you have turned that program around.
Thank you.
Turned that program around, and you should be very proud of yourself. And I'm definitely ready to have this conversation about, you know, not just Del State, but also like the overall collegiate HBCU world as well too, and how it's being impacted by our current days and policies.
Well, again, thank you. I appreciate all those kind words and compliments. That 2010 through 2012 was the heyday for Sanford. Our three-peat. We had 3 championships back-to-back, so those were some of the best days of my coaching life. And now having the opportunity to be down at Delaware State and have an impact not only on the basketball program, but on the campus in general and all the students that are involved and being a part of the community has been major. And I feel really good about the contributions that I've been able to make.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Now, I do have a question. I talked to you a little bit off air about this, so I'll jump right into it.
Sure.
College sports overall is changing very rapidly. I played in college. And if someone tried to give me $1 million, I would have got kicked off the team, wouldn't have been able to play anymore. But now we have NIL. Right. And we're seeing these celebrities, these students become celebrities overnight. They're making millions and millions of dollars and signing all different types of marketing deals. Has that had an impact on your program and HBCUs compared to PWIs?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a game changer, right? It has changed college sports and college athletics as we know it to something completely different. Big business, big business. I mean, it's always been about money and dollars always influence it. But now to have the opportunity for student athletes to be able to be paid or compensated for the use of their name, image, and likeness, NIL, makes a big difference. And for schools like ours at Delaware State and other HBCUs to be able to compete against some of the larger schools with larger and many more benefactors and donors and finances are huge, and understanding what philanthropy is all about and what it means to give back and alumni donation and participation and things like that, I think have impacted HBCUs in a much larger way than it has PWIs or some other institutions.
And I was talking to one of your board of trustees member, and they said less than 10% of alumni give back to Delaware State, even with all this attention it's getting. You were saying First Take is coming down to the campus and everything, whereas it's almost opposite of that at some of these PWIs, where it's 90% of alumni are giving. How do you as a coach, when you're trying to recruit, right, and you know the impact you could have on an athlete would take their career to a whole different level. How do you compete with that? What do you say to that student?
It's interesting, and I think for us as we recruit, and as I recruit for the basketball program and for Delaware State, we're selling my program, our program, what we have to offer, that family atmosphere, that nurturing, that legacy, that tradition that's associated with HBCUs, and particularly a place like Delaware State. We haven't had any trouble attracting players. The trouble for us is being able to keep them. Because if they come and they have any kind of success, the big guys are poaching, they're coming in and they're raiding them. We will have 10 new players on our roster this year as a result of primarily NIL and collectives.
Wow. And speaking of that, I was going to ask, that was one of my questions I was going to ask you. How are you being able to maintain your level of success is really good, and it shows that it's more about your ability to coach well, because you don't have 3 new teams. You've been there 5 years, right?
Yes.
You don't have 5 new teams.
That's right.
But yet you've always competed. Now, where do they have you all ranked right now in the ranking?
So we had a MEAC Media Day down in Norfolk, Virginia last week, and currently this coming season, the predictions are they have us ranked right in the middle of the pack. Number 5. Number five. And I kind of like that. We're laying in the weeds. The expectations aren't too high, and we're not at the bottom. And hopefully we'll be able to, surprise some people. They picked us 6th last year and we finished 3rd.
There you go. So,
So
and
we
they go to sleep on you if they want to.
absolutely. And I prefer that. Let them do that. No pressure. No pressure.
Yeah, and they still got Norfolk as at the top.
Norfolk at the top, and they won it last year. And I personally believe that's the way it should be. Until somebody knocks them off, they should be number 1.
And that's going to be our goal.
Yes, indeed.
We're going to knock them off.
No
first
question.
round.
No
As a
question.
matter of fact, I'm going to be there to make sure I'm cheering for you. That's right. Coach, real quick, y'all were talking about finances.
Mhm.
This is your 5th team, and they, as soon as they get good, because you coach them, you condition them, you make them what they need to be, and then they leave. You've not gotten bitter yet. Is there a reason why you don't get? Because I would lose my mind. You done built this person up and then they just leave. Not that they don't want to work for you, because every young person I've talked to who played for you,
Right.
it was an honor. But how are you feeling?
It's kind of a double-edged sword.
Okay.
On the one hand, I look for the opportunity to build a relationship with a young man and be able to get to see him and project what they might be 3 or 4 years down the road. But also, I know the impact that the kind of money that's being waved in front of these guys, the difference it might be able to make for their family. So it would be selfish or even foolish of me to sit here and tell a young man, you got to stay. If that package looks like it's something that can make a difference in him, in his family's life, then I'm going to say, young man, you got to go. And I understand, and I wish you well. And, we stay in touch. Even the guys that have left, I'm in regular contact with them. That's what we want to do, impact and help them make their lives better. So can't be selfish about that.
No, I definitely get that. And, we need more good people who are there to actually help the players develop. You see so many players want to go after the money. You saw this before NIL. They wanted to rush to the league to get that money, right? And they necessarily weren't prepared properly. So it's your foundation matters, right? And you have that middle school, that Pop Warner era, that middle school, the high school, and college to really develop yourself. As a coach in a HBCU, and having coached high school for so long in a predominantly white school, what would you say the biggest culture difference was for you?
Good question. And I really do think, and I believe the difference, and it's kind of hard to say because at Sanford, where I was, that was a special place.
Yeah.
There's a special culture about it. There's a special feeling. And I was there for 29 years, so that was family to me. But at an HBCU, you really feel it's family. They look like you, they talk like you, and they understand kind of the struggles or the things that you've been able to either overcome and accomplish to get to where you are. And I think there's a certain legacy and tradition that's associated with it that the families bring back to the schools or to the universities. And I think that's a major, major difference for our HBCUs. Okay.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, we know it's always good to have fun at an HBCU. And whenever you go to an HBCU game, you're going to have that fun. It's the full experience for everyone. Maybe not just the game, but from a coaching side, I understand the player perspective as well. And for you to have that foundation as well helps you really pitch DSU, right? Which I feel as though between the basketball team these last few years, the football team now, you're starting to hear DSU's name in places that you traditionally did not hear, right? I am on Capitol Hill all the time. I deal with, they have a guild of black people who work on the Hill. A lot of them went to Howard. They talk about these DSU games now. Back in the day, it was Hampton. It was everyone else but Delaware. Delaware had a HBCU. So you're definitely changing, not only changing for the university, but changing for the state of Delaware as well, too, and helping put us on the map. So again, just keep up the work.
And a lot of people want to, even though Joe Biden was the president of the United States, and he was from a place nobody knew anything about.
Right.
But when you in certain circles, and I'm gonna agree with Kobe on this one, when you in certain circles, you do hear Delaware State's name much more. And even though now we have this person from the Philadelphia Eagles coaching the football team, this started happening way before that occurred. And we hats off to my brother, and I hope he do very well. But it really started when they start seeing Del State rise up, because first of all, the underdog is going to come take over. He has no business having any place at the table at this point, and it was just a buddy deal, but then you just showed up at them games, and now you and your team. But it shows that these young people care about you. and the legacy that you're giving them. That's what I'm really trying to say. So Coach, if there was a moment that you cherished in your 5 years that you've been at Delaware State, could you help us with that?
Wow. You guys throwing some real tough questions at me today, and there are a few. I mean, I think of many from my first experience. And keep in mind, when I started at Delaware State in 2021, it was in the midst of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And that was a tough time to get started at a place where you were really trying to sort of get it going. We were still working remote, and I was able to put names but not have a face to go with it. And that made the transition a little bit more difficult than I anticipated. And then you throw in the change of NIL and collectives, and that changed the whole game in terms of recruiting. And like you said, Delaware State had a really strong name in the local market, but on a national level, it's like Delaware. Delaware. That's what we would hear. And then we were able to come in and have some success, get to postseason play in my third year playing in the CBI tournament, get into the MEAC championship game, although we didn't win it, but brought national exposure to Delaware State. And then now we bring in a guy like Deshaun Jackson to head our football program, a name that's got national recognition, NFL pedigree, and he has done so much to bring energy and enthusiasm and just a refreshed sense of pride to the university. But to answer your question about a moment that was just big for me, and I'll just keep it on the basketball side, I think getting to that MEAC championship and having that experience of having the entire university, from alums to the current students to the city of Wilmington and the state of Delaware, get behind us and support us was really special.
Yeah, and that was in your what year?
That was in year number 3.
Yeah.
That was in year number 3.
And you were supposed to survive past year
and we
number
weren't
1.
supposed to get past year number 1.
Look at that. God is just great.
God is good,
awesome.
Right?
Yeah. Can I just take a moment and you tell us, we know that the giving is not where it needs to be, but one of the things I love about you, you're not negative. You just make it happen with what you have. But how can the people watching us donate to your particular fund that will help your players?
That's an even better question, Pastor. I like that. Thank you so much. It is really important that we get people and supporters, donors, alums, friends of the program, the community, to get behind Delaware State, and particularly Delaware State University athletics. We've been behind for so many years, and I think a change is coming. But if you are able to support us and financially, please just go to the website at Delaware State University, click on Giving, and then you can find a drop-down box for men's basketball program. And no amount is too small. Anything that you can give to help us and support us would certainly be appreciated and goes a long way to making a difference.
Now, Kobe he went to a historically white college, okay? So I'm just going to put him out there. So we're going to make sure when you come back, because we always do this midterm conversation to see where we are, you got to let me know whether or not Kobe donated, because if you're on this show, everybody got to give.
I appreciate
I already
that.
got my tickets, and my giving is going to be a part of it too. But I want to make sure, and I'm going to bring Kobe to some of the games, because I got 2 seats. It's for the show. So
I want to be at the big game, Norfolk. When they take home that W,
Okay.
we all win.
Okay.
I want to be there.
But you got a seat already. But
All right.
but before then, you got to put a donation on that line. I want you to go to DSU's website, and as Coach have indicated, I want you to scroll to hit giving first. He made that clear. And those of you who are church people, you know about that giving button. You hit that giving and you drop that drop box. It's going to go down. It's going to go to athletics, and then you want to do men's basketball. This will help him do some things that will be able to keep some of his players. And for 5 years, he literally had to restart over again, because it is tough out there when it comes down to this market. But he has not been bitter, and he's just been producing. God is on your side. I know that
Yes,
part.
indeed. No
but
question.
you just continue to do some great things. Coach, what do you got going on with your team right now? Do you have any strong? I know you got potential, but what are you banking on?
Well, having 10 new players, we've got 10 new players on our roster this year. So we spent a large part of the summer and the preseason just doing a lot of team building and bonding and getting these personalities to mesh and get our chemistry going.
Okay.
I felt like we did a pretty good job with that, but now we got to get the talent together and put our pieces together and figure out, what gives us the best opportunity to win. I think this year, most folks will be pleasantly surprised. We've kind of gone international route a little bit. We have 4 new players who are from outside of the United States. We have a young man from Ghana. We have a young man from Sweden. We have a young man from France.
Oh, wow.
And we have one from Nigeria.
Wow.
So we've got a little international flair. They got 6'10", 6'10", 6'8", and 6'8", those four guys.
All right.
So they bring the size. And then, like I said, we've got 5 other players, just a mesh of talent. And if we can put them together, which will be my responsibility with my coaching staff, we got a shot, and I like what we have.
Okay. And they got you in the middle, but I guarantee you're going to be on top.
I appreciate that.
And as Kobe said, he's looking forward to that game that playing with Norfolk. I know that y'all going to do well with them. That's not even a concern for me. I'm always concerned because MEAC kind of like split up. Is A&T is no longer in
A&T is no longer there.
I have some young people down there, and I was bragging about how we continue to slaughter them. I'm trying to think who else is in y'all in MEAC.
So in the MEAC now, there's 8 teams left in the MEAC with Howard and Norfolk State, South Carolina State, of course, Delaware State, Coppin State, Morgan State, University of Maryland, Eastern Shore.
So it's North Carolina and North Carolina.
And North Carolina Central. Yes, sir.
That's what I was
Thank you.
looking
And
for.
North Carolina Central.
North Carolina Central. Okay.
Yep.
So we're gonna look forward to that. Now, Coach, is there anything that you want to share with your community? This is your community that's looking at you right now. Is there anything you want to share?
Yeah, I do. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for the support that I've received throughout my time in the state of Delaware. It's the only place I've ever lived. So I'm a native, and I do rely and appreciate on the support that I get from friends, family, and community members. And I would love to encourage you to come on down to Dover and support me. We talked about ways that you can help us financially, but I'm always talking about friend raising too. Okay. So we'd love to see you in the stands, whether that means you're getting a season ticket or you're dropping in for a game or two. But please come on down and support us and be able to help us take this program to the next level.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you, for those of you who don't go, it is a true experience. I mean, I worked at Del City at one point, and it was a good experience. But now it's like the gym is full every game, and winning or losing, they're sticking with this team. And Coach, you really are all of your coaches coming back?
Yep. So again, that's one of the things that when you talk about what do we have to sell, continuity in our program.
Okay.
In my 5th year, I can tell you we're probably one of the few universities that still has an entire coaching staff that's intact. The guys that started together are still together. That says a lot about who we are and his family and what we're all about. And again, a success that I know as the head coach, I get a lot of credit, but couldn't do it without those guys backing me and being right there.
You know, there's another coach that's on the sideline. Well, I will get to your wife last. I mean, let's go to your grandson, because he's now bigger and he's playing in several sports. I'm just amazed. Now that you finally got your boy.
Oh my gosh, Pastor Curry, you have no idea. I mean, he is just he's too good to be true. And he'll tell you, I'm 5.5, and he's tried every sport under the sun. You know, he's swinging a golf club, swinging a tennis racket, playing lacrosse, basketball, baseball, football. He's done it all, and pretty sharp in the classroom too. I know I'm bragging. I'm being that bragging grandpa.
That's okay.
But I'm really, really proud of you know, the way that he's grown up and the job that my daughter has done and her husband have done in raising him.
Yes. And as we exchange Father's Day, happy Father's Day, I often say you're one of the greatest.
Thank you.
You've done a very good job.
Thank you. Right back at you.
Now, how's the wife? I only see her doing the games every so often. If something happens, I'll see her at one of these events. But how is she doing?
She's doing well, thank you. Honorary assistant coach, doesn't miss a game. She's traveling. She's on the road with us. Her seats are right behind you. Right behind me, and you can probably hear her during the games.
When you ain't calling the right stuff, she's like,
exactly.
Hey, do this. Come on.
Exactly. But no, it is so great, and I'm blessed to be able to have that kind of support. For over 30 years of being a coach and being away from home, and the hours that it takes to do that, and the commitment that it takes to do that. And I'm only able to do that because I won't say she's behind me. She's right there beside me, and we get it done together.
Yeah, and she doesn't bring any. And what I love about her so much, she doesn't try to bring attention to herself. She just this is your thing, and she's just there to support you. And I'm listening to it though. But she knows the game.
She knows the game, and she knows our guys. And you know, sometimes I have to kind of get her to back off a little bit. Like she's baking cupcakes for everybody's birthday, and I don't want cupcakes in there for practice, but we got to take them, and we enjoy them, and the guys look forward to it. But again, that family atmosphere that we're talking about. Some of these guys are away from home, haven't been with their families in 5 years. So they got Team Mom.
Yeah, there you go.
And so we appreciate that, and all of that support is helpful.
Well, Coach, I want to take this opportunity to thank you. We're going to come back, and you probably won't be, I don't know which show you're going to be on, but I want to give you as much publicity as possible because I wanted to make sure that people know that you're still down there, you're still producing, still doing great. And even with all these odds against you, as it has always been, you still win.
Thank you.
And we're very grateful for you. We're very grateful. Anything else you got for him, Coach?
That's all I got for you. Have a great season, and I look forward to being at the game, and I will be supported.
That's right. And you will let me know.
I will definitely.
Because I'm going to ask you.
know.
I'm going to say, hey, Method, he going to probably be sitting right there. I will
definitely.
All right.
Let you know.
And those of you who are watching this, I'm also asking that you too. Let's support. Let's show that we care to see our schools, our young people do well. He's doing a great job down there. I'm going to turn to this camera now and say thank you so very much for watching us today. And I hope and trust that this show was one of the best because we had the infamous Coach Stan Waterman with us today. Until the next time, God bless you.
Take care, y'all.
Thank you. Thank you.
You've been watching The Source with host Dr. C.T. Curry and co-host Kobe Owens. Tune in every Sunday at 5 p.m. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest episodes.